Welcome to Real Estate Success, the Whissel Way podcast. Today we are joined by one of our agent board of advisors, Cody Stamm. Welcome to the podcast, Cody.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Cody has been on the podcast with us several times now. He has been on the team for 3 years or so?
I've been selling real estate for 3 years, but I've been with Whissel for 5.
Okay. Yeah. And Cody has a really cool story, really cool background of actually coming on, working as Kyle's assistant for 2 years, really learning all that he can to do. And then I think the first year you came on as Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So Cody has a great perspective, and this is going to be a really good talk about agents that are coming on new. I think, Cody, you have a really good perspective, really strong sense of what it takes to hit the ground running. And so this is really going to help those that are getting into real estate, either in the first couple of years. This is going to be great for team leaders, team owners that are working with people, mentors, anything like that, that you're working with newer agents into the industry. That's what we're going to cover on today's episode of the podcast.
Yeah, exactly that.
Good. All right. Thanks so much. So, Cody, why don't you kick it off? Give us a 30-second introduction of kind of who you are and more than what I just gave you.
Yeah. So born and raised San Diego and been with the team for 5 years, like we kind of talked about. I do have a 1-year-old at home now, Bennett, with my lovely partner, Jenna. We are just new parents trying to figure all this out while establishing a career. Real estate is my full-time, my only job, and realistically getting into a new groove, which has been fun because I went from, just 3 years ago, starting the business, developing into a slightly more mature agent. I feel like I'm still in the adolescent years, but definitely getting into a place where, the focus is primarily my family, providing, and having a new sense of really just like what it means to just get to work every single day and really utilizing the tools that I have and ultimately, going on past experiences, other technology and resources, and also really just allocating time in the appropriate manners because it's not just me that I have to worry about anymore.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
It's weird what family will do to you.
Priorities.
And then, Cody, just for a little bit of context, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. So if you don't know this number exactly, just give me a rough estimate. What do you think by the end of 2024, your total GCI is going to be?
Just looked the other day, the total GCI will be at $310,864.
So approximately.
I just looked.
And so I love that. So again, this is great for 3 years in the business, dad, and a new dad to a 1-year-old. And so this is going to be great. One more thing, and you say you're kind of in your adolescent stage of real estate because you look at people that have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. And I understand you're not where Kyle is or some of those people, but you are on our agent board of directors. Can you give a little bit of agent board of advisors? Yeah. Can you give a quick 30-second, 1-minute rundown of what you do on the team to help our agents?
Right. Yeah. So great question. So what I'm doing to help agents that are new to the team, experienced at the team, is really being a little bit, really the description of it is really a board of advisors. So I'm advising agents on negotiations, what to do in certain situations where they feel uncomfortable or something that they've never ran into. This could be, a really bad home inspection. This could be an appraisal coming in low. This could be, a title issue that they've never encountered and they don't know who to talk to, right? All those things that with my experience of being Kyle's assistant, I've seen a lot. And then now 3 years in the business, helping over 50 families, I've definitely seen a fair share of these circumstances. Now, again, I don't know everything and I'm first to admit that. But I think at this point in my career, I'm definitely able to help those agents who are dealing with those struggles early on of joining a team and getting their feet really just moving underneath them is, how do I really accomplish a smooth sale? What are some tips and tricks? So that's my, I think, huge benefit value add on that agent advisory board. And that answers the question.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you guys enjoy this episode, if you want more, go to thewhisselway.com. On there, you can find information about our newsletter, our referral network, our social media courses on there, our Facebook group, our YouTube channel, our Instagram account. There's a lot on there. If you are liking this, if you want to dive more, if you want to build your business more, go to thewhisselway.com, and you can also subscribe to the podcast. So, Cody, let's kick it off. Again, we're not going to be talking about how to grow a team within a team within a team because you have 90 years of experience in real estate agent or real estate industry. That's not what we're talking about today. Let's kick it off with what can you give to agents that are, like you said, newer in the business perhaps?
Yeah, so me personally, what I hope to give today for these newer agents is going to be not necessarily what you do to ultimately start. What I think I'm really wanting to focus on today with you is really giving the agents the tools, or at least a couple of them, to really boost their sales and their business strategies after they've maybe closed 2-3 deals, maybe even their first deal, and they're finally in the green, seeing some profit and have some funds to reinvest into themselves, into the business, and ultimately start building that pipeline through strategic methods like that.
Awesome. Yeah. A lot of times new agents into the business will get their first or second, maybe even third deal through friends and family, through referrals, through word of mouth. And that's good, but it's hard to grow that sustainably. It's hard to pour more fuel on that fire. So what we're going to be talking about today is once we have that up and running, once we have a business established, how do we actually make it sustainable?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, let's play out the scenario a little bit. So to make it easy, I'm going to start with, you've got $5,000 to spend.
Okay.
What are you going to do with it, right? You're a new agent. You don't want to pay for internet leads, and you're really just figuring out, where does this money go back into my business most effectively, bringing that 5,000 and turning it into 15, 20, 25, whatever the number continues. I think the three that I'm going to give today are really what I hope to spend some time on each of them and just give examples that I've done, stories that I've heard from other agents, and things that you can do tomorrow or the minute after you listen to this podcast and start implementing, right?
I love it.
Sound good to you?
Yeah. So I've got $5,000. I've closed 2 deals. I want more.
You want more. Awesome. So I think the thing that every agent needs to think most about is like, what fits your personality type and what is this business going to look like for you, right? How are you going to run this business? Are you somebody who thrives in relationships, right? Are you somebody that loves to interact with individuals? Is that where you really start to see more success in finding new people to work with you? The other agent is going to be somebody who's like, what systems and technologies could I maybe dump this into that would really, make my life either A, easier, or B, really like you're thriving in like a social media setting, but you need to spend some more money on ads, right? That could be an avenue that you're willing to spend. So technology and efficiencies could be a great place to spend that. And then the third one that I think we should really focus on is somebody that really needs to get other things in order. Like maybe they have other life things that have been stressing them out and preventing them from really achieving all that they can. So that $5,000 we can talk about today a little bit more of like personal growth, right? So I think that those are the 3 really easy things that people can start taking on. So if we want to start going on questions on number 1 being the relationship.
Yeah. And I love this because what we're going through today is explaining of how this can work for you in your life, in your business, regardless of your personality type. Sometimes people go, oh, well, I'm not outgoing like Kyle, or I'm not. It's funny because I can think of a handful of agents on our team that go, tech and systems and automations and all that stuff is what makes them tick. What's what makes them good. And what we found is agents that are like that, as long as they do include some of the relationship stuff, because you can't run your business fully on automation. If you could, Zillow's trying it, they'll beat you. I don't care how good you are. Zillow will win if you try and go head to head against and just say, oh, I want to do just tech. So there has to be that relationship side into it. So what I want you to listen to when you're listening to this is don't just listen to the system section and go, okay, good, I'll just do that. You got to take a little bit of each.
Totally.
So let's kick it off with relationships. How can we take that $5,000 and build our relationships?
Okay. So one beautiful way that I've really been expanding on lately is truly something having dinner type meetings. And, honestly, it could be very business oriented or a little bit softer, but like with my relationship partners, for instance, like I've got a really good family member that is phenomenal at just telling people, hey, like you should go talk to Cody. Like we are real, like he's great at what he does. And it feels like for me this year alone, I've gotten a handful of those. Shout out Scott. And
Scott will tell everyone about everything. I love you, Scott. and by the way, Cody, I love your mom too.
Yeah.
She said I made you look bad in the last one. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I love you, Mama Cody.
yeah. So yeah, no. So I mean, Scott, he's my dad. Like he literally does tons of things for me, and being a relationship partner, like just being the person that spreads the words, like. I'm never, ever, ever kicking him referrals because that's not legal. But like what I am doing is like leaning on him and loving on him in ways that are totally appropriate and absolutely available. But like you can replace Scott with business partners, right? If you know an attorney, right? A divorce attorney. We talk about these all the time. Like people get divorces tragically. And, you know, sometimes that means they have to split up and sell the house.
I think it always means they split up.
Well, true. Yeah, it depends. But no, they have to get rid of the house, right? And who's the first person that's going to know that knowledge, right? Probably the divorce attorney. That's probably who they're leaning on first. And if I had that relationship ongoing with that divorce attorney, guess who's going to be getting that first phone call? Hey, just talk to Joe and Sue, and they want to sell their house because they're splitting up, right? I'm going to be probably leaning on that divorce attorney, taking them out to nice dinners, right? Going golfing and like spending time really developing and building on that relationship. So when I have a situation where, you know, if I have to refer somebody to a divorce attorney, I already know who my first call is, and I want to be that person's first call as well. So really going that route of buying dinners and the networking type things, like that's a great way to be spending some money early on, and especially showing love in areas that are kicking business your way.
What I love about what you said is building a relationship. And I want to kind of unpack some of this stuff. But I love that you said you're going to refer business to this divorce attorney. You're going to be their resource to refer business. Now, sometimes people are going to hear this and go, okay, divorce attorneys. I'll reach out to 400 divorce attorneys and tell them I'll be your go-to guy, but never send it out to anyone. Right. And that's not building relationship. That's building a phone book. Sure. But like build a relationship. So yes, build a great relationship with a divorce attorney and a probate attorney and a trust attorney, right? Mm-hmm. Different groups. And I love that one, you talked about business. We also talked about personal. So think about who is in your personal sphere that is the person that will talk to anyone and everyone about anything, right? This is the person that if you go to a party with them, you're sitting in the car for 20 minutes as they're trying to leave. Because they're talking to they're the person that makes, for example, you mentioned Scott, his next door neighbor is my best friend, Travis. He'll make a relationship with the person at the drive-thru. He'll be driving through, I like your hat. And they'll talk for us. Let's go. So, but think about who those people are in your life and love on them. One, yes, it's good for business, but and again, you don't have to send referral fees, but you can take out Scott or Travis to dinner. And it doesn't have to be fancy dinners. It could be, hey, come over to my house. Hey, let's go watch a game. You can do coffee. You can do lunches. And if you're like, all right, well, I keep buying dinners and lunches, find title and lender and escrow people, and they'll buy you lunches and they'll buy you dinner because they want your business too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I love that. Relationships. And it fits exactly with what I love, diving deeper, not wider. I love that. Okay. Anything else to add to relationships, or do you want to move to systems?
I think move to systems for the sake of time.
Yeah, let's talk about systems.
So systems for me, I mean, really are going to be a lot of things that make life a little bit easier, right? If I know that I'm doing something over and over again and it takes me 30 minutes, I want to change that to 5 minutes, right? If I can just keep creating these systems over and over again, that is really going to be what helps me keep moving along the way and doing things much better. So like a system that I currently implement is like my open house. Like I thrive in open houses. I get a lot of business from them, but the setting up, the building the flyers, the door knocking, the dropping of the flyers, like doing all those things, like it takes a lot of time and stuff that I particularly like don't really like to do. Like, a lot of these people see like agents like out there door knocking, they must love it. Like, no, a lot of us don't love door knocking, but we understand the value in it. But the thing that we also don't love doing is like the printing, the getting everything ready, because those are money generating activities. If I can get all of those things put together by either somebody else, or I know that like it's a plug and chug type deal where I know, hey, I have an open house, here are the photos, here's the price, here's the description, I could be done in 10 minutes because I already know like, okay, it's fine. It's here. I don't have to think more about it. So I invest in systems like or technology that make those things a little bit easier, whether it be like saving templates in Canva, right? Canva Pro is a huge one. That one I pay extra, but I have a lot more access to things that are like going to be a lot cleaner, make it all look nice. But I know, for instance, like when I go in there, I click open house template, I drop the 4 photos in, I drop the description in, I change 3 to whatever the bedroom is, and I'm done. Like it takes me 5 minutes, but I watch other agents on the team that are new and they're like, I gotta overthink it. I gotta put this all together. It's gotta be perfect. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be that. It has to be done and efficient, and it has to be completed and good. But at that point, like, taking 30 plus minutes to build a flyer is just crazy.
Yeah. And I think so I love Canva. We're big Canva users ourselves. We actually looked into how much it would cost to get Canva for our entire team. Do you know, could you guess how much it would cost, Canva Pro?
$100 an agent?
I think it was like 30 grand. Yeah. So what's really exciting is actually EXP just announced that I think starting December, all EXP agents are getting Canva Pro. So you're going to save,
I'm going to start saving money.
$12, $20 a month, which isn't huge, but it's great. It's a great little tool.
Yeah.
But what I also hear you saying is you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. I think people go, oh, well, this one I want it to be bright and airy. And then this one I want to be, find a template, spend 30 minutes, spend an hour, 2 hours, whatever, perfecting your template. And that's the template you use on every open house. And if you say, hey, I want to refresh it once a year, cool. But spend time to develop your template.
And I think another system, like talking about like just templates and building things out and having it ready to go, is like spending money in like your social media management. A lot of agents are like trying to run and gun, they're going to be a marketing person. They're going to be the CEO of their company. They're also going to be the guy that's door knocking, the operations side of things. And like, it's entirely difficult. It is not something. There's a reason that we have the team of Whissel of 20 plus admin and all these agents running around. Like it's not really all that simple. And once you start to build more in your business, and I mean this year alone, I've already closed 16 deals, and like to get all of those deals done and actually achieve maybe more business from each one of them, it's honestly, I'd say like for each listing that I had, it would take another like 24 working hours to get all the things in line that I would need to do, like just by myself. But then when I started to learn, okay, the first time I did it, that was kind of hard, 24 hours of actually working on developing the social media around it, recording the videos, and then figuring out how do I like it? Oh, do I not? Like, then I was like, okay, that's a lot. So I hired somebody. I was like, this made more sense. I hired somebody to help with that social media stuff. And then I started to template out through a different site called Later, to have all of my social media going on at once, right? And social media is a huge piece that I think, a lot of agents try to focus on, but they kind of miss the mark. And I know this podcast just talk about it a lot, how to make it better and do all those things. So I think establishing a little bit more of consistency there and paying for those systems to help you would be way better than you going through your camera roll each day. And I mean, if you're anything like me, I'd take 2 hours, 3 hours by myself if I really like want the perfect post.
Yeah. Yeah, and you are going to outperform me every single day when it comes to real estate. You better. Otherwise, that'd be kind of embarrassing. You can out-negotiate me. You can out-contract write me. You can out-explain the differences between houses. You probably know more about my house than I do. But I know a lot more about social media. I know a lot more about editing and distributing and all that sort of stuff. So what I hear you saying is play to your strengths and punt to your weaknesses, to where you can optimize your time so you can make more money and spend more time with your family.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. So some systems I heard you say, Canva and Later, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about Later.
Yeah,
later. Yeah. Let's go to number 3 and personal growth.
Yeah. So this one, I think honestly is like the most missed piece of real estate for new agents, because they are so headstrong, focused, like the next deal. Like I'm all about it. You have to pay the bills, and then it always comes from the next deal. But what you'll find is that like fatigue and a lot of the things of like that were happening in those deals to get these next ones going, really start to play a little bit of a toll on you. And I believe one in like these like reinvesting into yourself starts with a little bit of self-care. So if that means like, hey, like you love playing soccer and you feel like you've been sacrificing that, like go join a league, right? To make sure, hey, I go out every Thursday and I play, right? I could spend, it's $250 for a league. Like that's a good chunk, and that could be used from like your business if you are the one, let's say, sponsoring the jerseys, right? Like that could be reinvesting. Now it's a marketing brand play, but you're also reinvesting in yourself a little bit, so you're getting to play. The other thing that I would say needs to be really spent time and money on when you're early on in your career, closing your third, fourth deal, is like there's going to be like those learning opportunities, right? Whether it be joining the next conference that you see, or an online seminar, maybe it's a coaching opportunity. I know with $5,000, like it starts to be a little bit limited. But if you're implementing a little bit here and there in the beginning, like you'll start to see that, like, wow, I just invested into learning about social media, right? If I spent $300 to take this online course and now I'm way better at it and I learned all these efficiencies and I got this other tech from it that made sense, and now I'm honestly getting more referrals from my social network. Wow, that helped because I paid the money to learn a little bit more. A lot of people are like scared to spend money to learn, and that is like a huge kickback in it's a write-off. At the end of the day, like taking those classes is a write-off, so it's money well spent.
Do you have any recommendations on courses or people or anything to I've got some kicking around in my head, but I'm curious if you have any.
I mean, I'm for the first time really investing into researching like coaching. Like that for me is going to hopefully catapult me into this next level of real estate, where I'm now, like, again, I'm in that adolescence, but like I'm almost going from like the freshman team to, I'm hoping, to the JV team, where it's like, look, I'm starting to play against some better people. I'm getting more reps, and I'm starting to develop more of a leadership role. So when I'm on varsity, whether if it's a year from now or 5 years from now, like I want to be really there. And like the only way to keep moving up is great coaching. I really think that is an opportunity that anybody who's new in this, like if you don't have a mentor, you should be really getting coached by somebody some way. And if you have to pay for it, then that $5,000 could be a good start.
I would say you're already on JV at least and going to the varsity team. Maybe you're on varsity and you're looking to go to state. Maybe you're going to college. I don't know what it is, but you're definitely not a freshman in this business. Some things you can look at if you're like, all right, cool. One of the things I did that I got some good stuff out of, and I know a lot of people get a lot out of, is Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. Have you gone to that?
Yeah, I did.
Yep. You can also, another thing that I like talking about paying for courses is Masterclass. I think it's $100 a year or $12, I don't know, whatever. But they have courses on everything, and they're all beautifully filmed. I like watching them.
You film those?
No.
Oh, that
no.
was like a plug for you.
That would be really nice. Masterclass, hit me up. But you can also do a lot of learning opportunities for free. Things like this podcast, things like Facebook groups, things like YouTube channels. Find someone that you connect with and utilize that. Okay, so the three things that you're saying, hey, if you're an agent growing, and I think every agent, I think this applies literally to every agent, but if you're an agent growing, looking to take your business to the next level, focus on relationships, both between industry relationships, but also personal relationships. And not only is that going to help your business, that's going to help you as a human be better, right? I talked about this a lot to my mom about having a community of people, and she used to make fun of me, and now she doesn't, because how tight that community can be when you are in need, right? And so going to dinner, coffee, lunch, sending people referrals, sending people their way, even if they don't actually end up signing with them, sending someone their way is a great relationship builder.
Totally.
Next is things like systems. Look at systems to help optimize your business. We here at Whissel are huge on systems. Some of the systems that we use, just a quick little non-paid plug, but if you're looking for CRM, Follow Up Boss, we absolutely love Follow Up Boss. It only gets better and better and better and better. For our website, we use Ylopo. You mentioned some things for yourself, things like Canva and Later for social media management. There are some others, Sisu and Open to Close for transaction stuff and numbers. And Call Action. We love Call Action as well for following up with texting campaigns and stuff like that. There's a billion more. We have a whole podcast on our tech stack, but those are a few that I wanted to plug. And then third is personal growth. Take some time for self-care. Take some time for vacation. Take some time for family. Because if you don't, you will burn out. And no one wants that.
Totally.
Cool. Before we go to our Whissel Widget of the Week, I want to thank you for listening to the show. If you want more, go to thewhisselway.com. You can get all this and more. And if you enjoyed this, please take a second to share this with someone that you think will get value out of it, whether it be a team leader, a mentor that's working with newer agents, or even a new agent themselves. And finally, if you can write us a review on your favorite podcast platform, just like you ask your clients to write you a review, and they say they will, and then sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. We would love for you to take a second to write us a review. It helps us grow. It helps us continue to push this forward, and it helps other people find this podcast. So with that being said, our Whissel Widget of the Week, this is something that we use in our daily lives. It saves us time, money, or energy. Cody, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so I already kind of prefaced it, but Later, that's the app that I'm really, really fond of at the moment, just because I spent a lot of time early on in my career, like onesie, twosie posting, and like it was fine. It was working, I guess. But as soon as I started implementing Later, which is basically an app that establishes a social media calendar, it can do stories, it can do posts, it can set you reminders like, hey, you haven't posted in a while, or give you analytics too that are like, this is a prime time to post based on what we've been seeing, whether the platform be LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I believe they have a couple others that they actually all connect with. So the beautiful thing is too, is like you can set them up for all these different platforms. And what I do now is like I spend about a few hours one time every 2 weeks and just lay out 2 weeks worth of content. Now I could go crazy. I can go 2 months. If I wanted to spend all weekend, I'm like, look, I'm going to go bug out on my social media. I'm going to lay these things all out because I have the content ready to go. You could absolutely do that. Or if you're just like, look, once a week, I spend time doing this. The benefits that I've seen from it are quite honestly just immediate response and engagement from those of people that are actually following me. But when I started to pay for the ad or pay for my posts to go a little bit more boosted, like that started generating like one of my closings. I'm saying it was off of it because I can't 100% say I didn't represent the buyer, but one of my listings like was stale, and I scheduled this post, had a couple times running through it, and bumped like I think it was like $50 into it. Found a buyer in 1 week after sitting for like 3 weeks. Nobody, and again, it could have just been organically they found it online, but I choose to believe that was a direct effort.
Yeah, and you never know, but it's a little bit of everything, right? Which one spoke makes the wheel secure? It's all of them, right? My widget this week is I am using 3 cameras here recording, and if you have batteries, sometimes they die, especially as they grow older. I've got, 50 batteries, but as I'm hosting and I'm recording the show here, I can't switch out batteries, right? And so what I do on all 3 of my cameras is they have AC power to them. So what it is basically a dummy battery that goes into the camera. It's connected to a cable, and then I plug it in. And so I was able to use this for an event. I was able to film 4 hours of content without ever having to change a battery. And each camera uses a different one. But if you're looking for something like this, just look up your camera battery, right? Canon BPE6 is this one. AC power, and look it up on Amazon. They're like $20-$30, and it's easy as that.
Cool.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Whissel Way podcast. Cody, if people want to reach out, get some more tips, tricks, advice from you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Always got my phone, so text and phone call is best, but you can also find me at Cody Stamm _. That is my Instagram handle, Facebook. Check me out on there and see what I got going on.
Cool. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Thanks.